Did you know that Jesus said that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast in the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. That's actually in the Bible. Those are the words of Jesus. Now, what did Jesus mean about that? Let's think about that for a second. He's saying that if we say something and we believe that it's going to happen, it will happen. These are the words of Jesus, not the words of me, not the words of some preacher, not the words of some charlatan. These are the words of Jesus. Let's think a little bit about that. How did God create the earth to begin with? If you think back to Genesis, it always started with, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God said, that's how he created. He created things with his very words. Now, a lot of us, we don't think about that on a day-to-day basis. We don't think about how our words that we speak today are going to form and shape the day that's ahead of us, or shape our tomorrow, or shape our next year, or shape our life altogether. But words do have meaning, and Jesus pointed this out to us. He's trying to teach us something. He's trying to teach us that our words have creative force. Now, I know a lot of you will find that hard to believe, but the fact of the matter is, those are the words of Jesus, and he did speak them. He spoke those in Matthew chapter 21, verse 21 and 22. And then again in Mark 11, 22, 24. I'm going to read this to you. And Jesus answering saith unto them, have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. That's Mark 11, 22 through 24. Now, if we unwrap that a little bit further, he tells us that if we believe that what we say is going to come to pass, it's going to happen. And then he tells us that when we pray, if we believe that we receive what we've asked of God, that it's going to be given to us. Those are powerful words that Christians need to take seriously, and they need to incorporate that into their daily lives. Think of it this way. How many times have you been driving down the road, you're late to get somewhere, to an appointment or to get to work or whatever, and you look ahead and you see a traffic light down the road and it's green, and you just say to yourself, oh man, I know I'm not going to make it through that light. I'm not going to make it through that light. And sure enough, that light ends up turning red. I know you think, well, that's just a coincidence, but you have to stop and think about the words that come out of your mouth. One time, some people were visiting us. They were staying for a few days, and they were also going to go to the other side of the state to visit some other relatives. They decided that they were going to leave a day early, and I asked them why, and they said, well, we want to leave a day early just in case we have car trouble. Well, I told them, you just gave the enemy, which is Satan, permission to mess with your car. And they're like, no, it's nothing like that. We don't believe that. And I said, well, yeah, you did. And guess what? They left a day early, and they got halfway across the state, and their car broke down. When we take these words seriously by Jesus, we would be wise to put a guard on our mouth and watch the way we speak. I always greet people as I walk by them in the hallway at work, and I'll just simply say, hey, good morning, how you doing? And so often people will answer, oh, not too bad. And I'll immediately say to them, oh, I'm sorry to hear you're doing bad. And they look at me kind of confused, and they said, no, I said, not too bad. And I just point out to them, I say, well, not too bad is a level of bad, isn't it? And then they take a step back and they're like, I never thought of it that way. I even had one guy thought he'd be clever, and he said back to me, he said, well, what if I said not too good? And I said, well, that means you're doing good, you're just not being excessive about it. So think about that. Think about the words that come out of your mouth. Do you answer somebody when they say, how's it going? Not too bad? What you're saying is that your life is going bad. It's just not too bad, but yet it's still a level of bad. Wouldn't it be better to be saying, I'm doing wonderful, or I'm blessed? Think about the words that come out of your mouth. Think about Jesus' words in the two passages that I just read to you. I happen to believe that Jesus knew what he was talking about. I happen to believe that Jesus meant for us to learn this lesson so that we could speak things into existence that we want to see in our future. Let's talk about that for a second. In verse 24 of Mark 11, I'll read it again. Jesus says, "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Believe that ye shall receive them. That means to have faith, doesn't it? And we also know that Hebrews 11:6 tells us, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." So we know that in order to please God, we have to exercise faith. We can exercise faith by speaking words of faith out of our mouth. When we pray to God and we ask for things, we have to thank him for them as if we've already had it. Now, I've had some other people that say, well, I'm not going to say things that aren't true, or I'm not going to say things that I can't see. Let's talk about that. Hebrews 11:1. It tells us what faith is. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for. Things hoped for. That's the name of this channel. The evidence of things not seen. So, what is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Faith actually gives substance to the things that we're hoping for. And when you say, well, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it, we don't have to say, I'll believe it when I see it. The evidence that it's going to happen is our faith. Think about that. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So when you're believing for something and you want to reassure yourself that it's going to happen, your evidence that it's going to happen is your very faith. Think about those things. Contemplate those things. Let those things sink in. And pray for God to give you wisdom to really learn how to incorporate these thoughts and the practices of guarding your mouth and speaking words of faith into your daily life. May God bless you.